southern sun. Rubber burns and the race has begun. Enters Racing League, the speed is our creed. Fuel the fire, we're born to lead. Lights go green and the world's a blur. Chasing glory, feel the engine purr. Wheels keep spinning, hearts on fire. Chasing the thrill, climbing higher and higher. We are the speed, we are the light. Enters Racing League, tearing through the night. Circuit kings with a need for pace. This is our time, this is our race. That's the light. From Melbourne skies to Perth's dry heat, the asphalt sings beneath our feet. Every corner, every turn we own. Enters Racing League is home. No brakes, no fear, we own this track. Push the limit, no turning back. Faster, stronger, we're breaking through. Enters Racing League, it's what we do. We are the speed, we are the light. Enters Racing League, tearing through the night. Circuit kings with a need for pace. This is our time, this is our race. Answer my engines roar under the southern sun. Rubber burns and the race has begun. Enters Racing League, the speed is our creed. Fuel the fire, we're born to lead. Lights go green and the world's a blur. Chasing glory, feel the engine purr. Wheels keep spinning, hearts on fire. Chasing the thrill, climbing higher and higher. We are the speed, we are the light. Enters Racing League, tearing through the night. Circuit kings with a need for pace. This is our time, this is our race. That's the light.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back into Racing League on your Saturday afternoon for Japan action pre-season week 1. And yeah, should be a good one this afternoon. Scotty in the box once again. So don't want a double stint. I believe only the one lobby this afternoon. I think we've combined both of them. So, but we do have a full grid from the look of it as well. So it should be a bit of a hectic one this evening. But it is Japan, of course. Fantastic track, Suzuka. And should be some interesting racing this afternoon. We'll have a quick look at our Suzuka circuit. It'll be 27 laps around this 5.807 kilometre circuit. Lap record is a 1:30.983 set by Lewis Hamilton in 2019. Only the one DRS zone down the start, finish straight. So a good exit out of the last chicane. Can get your overtakes done at turn number one. But of course, you can always get the move if you're right up the close of somebody out of 130R going into that said chicane. Potentially move, obviously, the hairpin in the middle of the lap. Could always be an opportunity to make an overtake as well. So it can be a little bit tricky, obviously. This game, with the way the tyres work, a little bit more management. Seeing the racing from China last night, most drivers went for the two-stopper. Other guys went for a one and just managed to hang it out. Yeah, we'll see if Japan is anything of the sort around this 18-turn circuit. Should be very interesting to see, as let's get straight into the action this evening. So let us know. Sound should hopefully be all working. As you can see, we do have all 20 drivers on the grid. If I will ask, because if anyone knows who the hell both RVs are, both Shane Van Gisbergen. So I'm assuming I will find that out very shortly, but that's going to confuse the hell out of me. And the Battle Cat when he does his results at the end of the night. You can see a lot of drivers out for their first runs. Let's get the track map up for everybody at home. So I believe it is an Alpine, I'm going to have a guess. It is, and it's Hato. So Hato, I believe, finished fourth or fifth last night in the quicker T1, or the quicker lobby last time around China. So we'll see how their pace goes as they come out of the final corner to start their first flying lap. As we come to turn number one. Hang on, I'll double check audio. Good morning, Battle Cat. Unless you're hearing stuff. I'll turn it up just a little bit more. Might be the issue. Coming through the top of the hill now. So tight, twisty first sector. Oh, bit of a slide out of Degner 1. Degner 2 was a little bit smoother. Yeah, I thought I wasn't hearing things. You clearly weren't hearing things, but all sorted now. Turn 11 is the hairpin. So Hato's nailed that. So coming through the faster part, the second half of the circuit. Turns 13 and 14, all important exit out of this one. A long run up the hill. It'd be nice if this was a DRS zone. Sadly, it's not. Right on board, around 130R, flat out in this modern age of cars, and bringing the speed off of it to the chicane, to the right, to the left. Important exit, not too much of a slide there from Hato. He'll go as close to the pit lane as he can, and he gets a 129.271 for our opening lap. Ashton goes a 30.1. Junkyard beats that on a 29 flat. Ollie Stevens behind on a 29 flat as well, 11 1,000ths off, I should say, as Big Chris JT, 28.8. We're going to start seeing some of these quicker guys. I think we've got one of the Red Bulls. Or both RBs, I should say. 28 for the pair of them. P goes on a 29.3. Got an Aston Martin and a Haas. AMW was the Haas. Comes across the line, 29.1. I think we've got both Red Bulls. Dark and Shadows took last season off here at Inters. So back in the seat for F1 25. Oh, he was on an out lap. I built him up and he hadn't started his lap. X-Knight, his teammate, however, they go into P11. That's time on the board. The Worms, Kimi Ant go into P11. I got one of the Ferraris, got Websy. Time on the board is an out lap. As you got Dark and Shadows. Not only did I build him up for a lap that he hadn't actually started yet, he's made a meal of it at the SS, at the S's. So we'll be backing off and going once again. Why there's two Shane Van Gisbergens, I have no clue. Problem is, I have no idea which two they are, and it is going to absolutely give me the shits trying to work out who's actually, which car is which. Dommore's getting out of the way. We got one of the Shane Van Gisbergens on the, so one went mediums, one went softs. So at least know whoever's in first is a sweat, 28.3 on a medium. The second one is going to start another lap. Ghost Rider up in P3, 28.6. Nice lap from them. You got the Haas. I think that's a slow Haas. They'll be coming in. Letter P is slow. You got the other Red Bull on the lap. Dark and Shadows, if he's got fuel, he'll go again after the mistake. No, he won't. Only had enough fuel for the one run. Rynoon, absolutely dominant in the Lobby 2 race at China last night. So he's they're going to be mixing it up with the big boys this evening. So we'll see what the pace is like there. As Websy, in the meantime, 27.587. Why aren't they giving me the graphics, or unless I'm just blind and missed it? Keep an eye on it. So Websy, about 8 tenths quicker. Ronoon's on an outlap. The Dust is on one as well. Dommore's on a bit of a quicker one. Ashton goes inside the top 8 as Domore goes purple in the first sector. That'll be his best first sector. Purple. And he's invalidated. So we'll jump off Domore. We'll go to someone closer. Kimmy Ant go. Both Williams 13th and 14th at the moment. So are we flying through? No, that's a slow lap. That Ferrari, that Big Chris, no, that's Websy. Websy's down. So the Sauber potentially. Battlecat. Yeah, it's definitely not Battlecat because he's a 10th and a half, or 3 seconds down, I should say. Just trying to find someone on a lap. One of the Shanes aren't on one. Not Ghosts for noon. Second sector line. An 11.7. So lower battery hasn't set a lap time yet. 4 drivers yet to set a lap time. Let's go P13 though, so it's at least a lap time. How about one of the McLarens? Junkyard. Nice job, 29 flat. About 4 places ahead of letter P. He's on another lap now. How we got? We got one of the Alpines. That sort of slow lap. They're coming in. Italy's on the lap. How about one of that? Might be that Red Bull actually. Try and actually see someone cross the line. No, X Knights is on a lap. Kimmy on the medium tyres. So we are halfway through this this qualifying session, 8.5 minutes, and we have Websy leading the 2 RBs. Websy's still got a healthy margin as well, so he's done a good job. McLaren in the background, I think, starting their lap. Battlecat's in the box. About the Red Bulls. Dark and Shadow's got to attempt number 2 to get a lap time in. Big Chris had to start his run. We might be looking at one of the RBs. This looks like to be a bit of a flyer. So the second Shane Van Gisbergen comes across the line, does find 0.6 of a second, gets within a tenth and a half of Websy. So nice lap from the RB. And you got the Aston Martin slow in the final chicane. I think the Williams is on a bit of a quick one behind. Who's that? No, that's Broseph on an outlap. Oh, that's hard. That's a purple sector, middle sector for the Haas. So 29.1, big slide on the entry of the chicane. Does manage to catch it, but how much time has that cost? P10 at the moment. Found a couple of tenths, jumps him up to the fourth row of the grid, 28.8. And nothing between them and Chris. How about the second RB? A little bit of lag, and that's a slow lap. Yes, it is. Letter P. Oh, has Letter P had a bit of an issue? I think he might have. Let's one of the Ferraris go, who's warming up their tyres. Eat the dust, meanwhile, up into P4, currently in pit lane. So shout out to them. Broseph. Through 13 and 14 now. Rights the curb. So with the Williams slightly up on their time, around 130R. So one big braking point left. That was a nice line from Broseph. Oh, but the exit wasn't good. Finds himself into the gravel. And comes straight back into pit lane. So, obviously, Broseph, he's got another set of softs. He'll chuck them on for the end. Kimi Goat on the mediums as well. 5 laps on those medium tyres. So, slightly up. As you can see, a lot of guys getting out of the way. So, we'll see if Kimi will finish this lap. 5.5 minutes left to go in the session. So, potentially could have another lap now. Is there improvement? No, lost a lot of time in the last sector. Ghost Rider starting their next flyer. Might actually, we'll stick. Oh, I was going to say we'll stick on board with Ghost Rider for the lap, but we won't because he invalidated through 1. So Ghost might try and burn, if he's got enough fuel, might try and burn those tyres up. As Websy, I was about to switch to him, and he's gone even quicker. He's a 27.181. It's a hell of a lap from Websy. Absolutely flying in this race at the moment. So I was just looking at something else. So Websy, a former Inters champion. He's not lost one bit of speed on this game. So Websy looking quick as always. Eat the dust. Coming through the S's now. 4 minutes left to go in qualifying. Uphill around turn 7. Egner 1 is up by 2.5 tenths. But that's not, he went too wide off the exit of Degner 2, and then coming up into the hairpin. Lock up, little slide, trying to get the power down. So how much time has the Aston Martin driver lost after making that little mistake? Websy, if he's going to race full-time Tier 1 again, he'd want to try and get the championship back from Yusuf. And he's doing a good job. However, we've seen Yusuf's been mighty quick on this game already. Eat the dust. We come through the chicane with a yellow flag in front. Should be good enough. And Eat the Dust has aborted. 3 minutes left to go. Probably done that to make sure that they've got time to come out on another set of tyres if they will do that. Brosef's out again after his mistake at after his last lap. as you've got Ghost Rider on the grass, I think trying to get out of the way. Yeah, just trying to stay out of the way as well. Battle Cat. So he's going early, tends to go just a couple of minutes earlier than a few other guys, just getting a couple of runs in. Come through. Overhead banners at around 130R. It's purple in the middle sector. So for the Battle Cat, on board, it's on the curve. It'll be a run to the line. Battle Cat jumps 5 positions, finds 7/10 into the 28. It is very close in that midfield. Half a second, covering probably about 8 drivers. So Battle Cat, he's got his lap out early, as you can see. Everybody coming out of pit lane now. It's going to be a complete rush. It's going to be Broseph that's going to be on the lap. No, it's not, because he's made a mistake. From the look of it, he's backed off. So if he's got enough fuel, he can go again. Minute 40 left. Ghost Rider's coming into pit lane, so he's retired. So either used enough sauce or feel like that's probably the best he can do. Nevertheless, it's currently a 3rd row starting position if he can keep it. It'll be tricky though, as we see X-Knights coming to start their final flying lap. As we watch him come through the S's. One was done for qualifying. Up the hill, left-hander. Now and down. Egner 1 and 2. First part was good, up by 3/10. Keeping it well within track limits and wasn't slowed. Up to the hairpin of 11. It's been smooth from the Red Bull for the first half of the lap. Websy is done. He's got a 6/10 margin, but everybody will be out on their last set of tyres. As we come through a little bit of the curb through 13, exit off 14. Was that a little slow off the exit? We'll get a little bit of a tow from the Sauber. They do find another couple of tenths though. They are currently last, but they could jump at least a couple of positions if they get a good final sector. Or was it to the apex? Won't have lost too much time. Crosses a line. Oh, but they just fall behind, so X-Knights will be starting this race from last. As we'll have a look at some of the quicker boys. So the second Shane Van Gisbergen, the second RB, 10th and a half up. As we see the first RB is 2.5 tenths up. So both RBs flying. We just missed Eat the Dust one. Letter P goes P3. While we're looking at the top end of the field. So great lap from P at the end. I want to have a look at the 2 RBs. They're going to be the ones that potentially could take pole off Websy. But it needs to be a great middle sector. It's 4.5 tenths. It's not quite possible for Shane unless he's got a lot of time in the final sector. Oh, the other RB has lost time though. So I don't think either RB will challenge for pole, but the first one comes across the line, jumps into P2. Can his teammate come back across and pip that position, get back on the front row? They can, separated by half a tenth. Ollie is in P4. I think we are done. Yes, we are. So we'll have a quick recap. So Ollie was P4, let it P P5. Dark and Shadows on his return, P6. Eat the Dust is 7th. Big Chris 8th. Ghost Rider 9th. AMW rounds out our top 10. Kato in 11th. Battle Cat 12th. Junkyard, Ashton, Ranoon, Broseph. Did get a lap in 29.7. Donmore 17th. Deadly Fuller in 18th. Hemi Antgoat in 19th. And we saw X-Knight's lap. Also a little mistake there. Drops him to the back of the pack. So he's getting a bit of a breather. Another quick look, but Websy Wasn't quite the margin that it was looking after before the last runs, but hell of a lap time from Websy ahead of Shane. Both Shanes, whoever they are. Ollie in fourth, letter P. Dark and Shadows. I'll quickly try and get as many of these names in Race League Tools as I can. Ghost Rider and AMW, shout out to them. Battle Cat, Junkyard was 13th. Ashton 14th. Ronan, Broseph, Don Moore, Deli Fuller, Kimmy, and X Knights were your last on the grid. So we just wait for our final changes. Tyre strategy would be very interesting. We do have a full grid, so safety cars obviously can happen around here. There's definitely a few spots that we can tend to have a couple of accidents. Just having a quick look. Couple of people having a couple of tech issues. Ghost Rider was one of them. I think he's good. Good to go now. So, as we wait for the countdown. So it should be a good race. As we do have the lights. We've got all five on. Ferrari versus RB, we're underway. Websy versus Shane, and Websy got a great start. Shane was a little bit off, so Websy should be able to take turn one on the racing line normally. Websy leads through turns 1 and 2. Oh, the RB gets sideways. Thankfully, doesn't spin Ollie around in the Alpine, as it looks like that we're clean through the rest of the field. As we see the guys rise over the crest. And single file, the guys have sorted themselves out. Doesn't look like anyone's made a big loss. I think letter P dropped a couple of positions. See tyres, everybody on the medium tyres. Don Moore's had an incident at the back. And he's facing the wall, and I believe that is wing damage. Yes, it is for the Haas driver. Head back up as Hado on the inside of letter P. Letter P holding that position. So letter P in 8th, AMW's moved up a spot into P9, Dark and Shadows in 10th. So AMW, he's the one that's gone aggressive on the soft compounded tyre. Brosef's gone the other way and onto the hard compound as Rhinoon gets past Ashton through 14. Lovely move. We just caught the back end of it. So as we go side by side through 130 out between the Red Bull and the Haas. AMW, there's slight contact. Hopefully Ghost managed to avoid contact. Websy sets fastest lap early on as Shane, the second Shane, gets past Ollie. So RB 2 and 3 as we still see this fight between Ghost Rider and AMW after the moment at the chicane. And AMW's lost a couple of spots. He's looking at 9th, now down to 11th. As we can see, this field spread already after the opening lap. Top two, 1.4 second clear. So dirty air, especially in this first sector, would be, I'd imagine, quite bad, especially with heavier fuel. But Ollie's doing a good job sticking with the second RB. As you got Battle Cat, he's had a moment, he's gone wide, you can see. So maybe got on the outside curb through Degner 1. That's forced him all the way to the back of the runners that haven't made a pit stop yet. Donmore comes out onto the hard compounded tyres. So a bit of a chaotic start in a couple of areas. Chris is up into P5. Quickly have a look at our position changes. It's Hado, the biggest mover on the grid, up 4 spots. Battle Cat down 7 after that mistake. Halfway through the lap. So plenty of movers, but the top 4 have stayed as they are. Ollie did move up a couple. Oh, got on that curve a little bit, so lost a little bit of time. As you got the first RB Shane on a 31.1. Letter P and Hado fighting. So Letter P getting that spot back from Hado. Up into P7 is the McLaren driver. Go back to tyres, so Eat the Dust just sort of dropped off the back. He's leading the next train. About 7 cars, currently in P5. Got Big Chris and Letter P behind. So lap 3:27. So looking to go a little bit longer. Is Corrosive in 15th. He's looking to just keep it out of trouble at the moment. Ollie right on the back of the RB, not letting that get away. We'll scroll further down. So a little bit spaced out. Be curious to see what the soft compounded tyres on that Haas is feeling like. Feel like they're gonna be screaming in the not too distant future. Obviously going super aggressive at the start. Was hoping to make up spots. What did I say? The drop one, unfortunately. As you got, it was that Ferrari driver, Big Chris. That was a poor exit. I think he'll get DRS, but Letter P will be right on the back. Go side by side. So, bit of battery usage from the pair of them, I'd imagine, but Letter P gets the nose in front. Oh, a slight little bit of contact. Thankfully, no one gets set into the wall. Deli Fuller gets past Bros from Battle Cap, making his way back up after his mistake gets past X-Knights. Nice move from P. His next target is now the Aston Martin of Eat the Dust. See if Big Chris can hang on. Haydo will be looking to the back of the Ferrari, try and find a way through. Oh, that's a poor exit from the Ferrari, and that allows Haydo to get the job done, but will Chris try and hang it and chuck it back down the inside? That forces Haydo wide. So darkened, if you could get a good exit. Oh, as you've lost, AMW's had a spin out of the hairpin. So whether he's had contact from behind or he's just lit up the rears a little bit too quickly, AMD drops further spots and will drop back down to P15 as Darkened Shadows get past Big Chris. So that Ferrari not having the best lap, already a couple of positions lost. And look at Ghost Rider. He's going to be on the outside of 130R. Easily side by side, but he'll have the inside line at the chicane. Got to make sure that he doesn't go too deep into the Red Bull. But nice move from Ghost Rider, managing to get the job done. And should have a bit of DRS to help cover. So just wondering if Big Chris is just cooking up his medium tyres a little bit too quickly. Oh, there's a little bit of movement between the Red Bull, and the Red Bull's been spun. I don't think Darken got close to the wall, but Darken Shadows and Haydo, they make contact. So I know we saw at the bottom of the camera that there was late movement as they were sorting themselves out for turn 1. Darken will say that he wasn't left enough room. Haydo may be saying that it was his corner. Might have to have a better look at that. So obviously Darken won't be too happy. Don't think he hasn't dropped a lot of positions, but unnecessary contact and spinning just eats your tyres up, and Darkened Shadow won't be too happy about that. Yeah, I'm a little bit with the check-in. I sort of, my view of that looked a little bit tight on at turn 1. I'll leave it with the boys after the race. Yeah, that looked a little bit tight and not enough room given. But Haydo in P7, he's going to have to worry about Ghost Rider now, who's coming up to him at a rate of knots. Haydo automatically covers, but Ghost Rider, can he send it around the outside? No, Haydo gives up the position, but Ghost Rider goes too deep. That'll allow Haydo to try and get on the counter-attack. But if the Alpine just has a slide at the wrong moment, and that's a gift for Ghost Rider. As you've got Eat the Dust and Letter P. Eat the Dust gives up the position. Letter P, after dropping in a couple of spots at the beginning of this race, has jumped back up into P5. And he's got 4 seconds to try and hunt down for a potential podium. So Ollie in the second of the RBs in a little battle pack by themselves, and Shane and Websy. We haven't really seen much of this battle because of all that's happening down further in the field. Shane Van Gisbergen and Websy about half second apart. So we'll keep an eye on, I think Big Chris is just starting to form himself up a train, so we'll go back to that battle in a minute. See Websy, I don't think Websy will be pushing too much. We shouldn't be too far away from our first pit stop, especially everybody starting on the mediums. Still want to at least go, the tyre wear around here, you probably still want to at least go another 5-6 laps, but someone might try and attempt an undercut, especially further back if they're in a bit of a train. As we start lap 7, so Websy about 6/10. I think we'll really try and hustle to try and get by, so we'll sit behind again. Sit in a little bit of the dirty air, see how that affects Websy. The second RB hasn't been able to detach Ollie away from his back, so Ollie doing good in P4 as you got Dark and Shadows and Big Chris, and there's another half spin for the Red Bull of Dark and Shadows. He's not having the greatest first stint. I think that's like the third time that I think I've seen him sideways. Obviously, the one a couple of laps ago was massive, but again, it was just side by side through turn 2 and contact happening. So Big Chris holds P9. So all that sort of battling in moments that has really broken up this midfield pack. Now sort of got Big Chris defending again. We got a yellow flag. Who is that off? I think that might have been Kimmy or not AMW. That might have been Kimmy or X-Knights, one or the other. Battle Cat in P16 after his off dropped him back to the rear of the field. So what about Letter P? So Eat the Dust after getting past. Just sticking within DRS here. Ghost Rider as well. Ghost Rider, he's looking good on this game. Looking competitive, which is good to see. I know some people weren't feeling as comfortable. Others were able to pick it up quite quickly. As Rhinoon picks up our first 3-second time penalty, as well as Dark and Shadows at the exact same spot that she came. As Hato and Dark and Shadows coming in from the back end of the 10, as you got Junkyard getting past Big Chris. So Junkyard into 8th. So do both of these guys have damage? Hato, no. About Dark and Shadows, no. As Kimmy speeds in pit lane and has retired. Our first retirement. That won't bring out any sort of safety car, but you had 4 drivers coming in. Ellie Fuller was the other driver on the medium, so this is definitely a 2-stopper for the Aston Martin driver. So down to 19. As you can see, Ghost Rider right on the back of the Aston Martin. As Rhinoon gets past Big Chris as well, so that was a move down at the hairpin. Yeah, just catch up on your message checking. Yeah, we saw that at the bottom of the screen, the little swipe about 5 laps prior. So obviously ultra hard defending. Might have been a little bit too hard across or over the line. And wait and see. Well, I'm expecting to see a couple of POVs. Was Websy's coming in. Same as the second of the RBs. Does Ollie follow? No. So Letter P stays out. Eat the Dust as well as Ghost Rider. So we've got 2 of our leaders. All we got a Haast in the gravel. Oh, did they hit the wall? Don Moore. He's got wing damage, so I think he may have. So Don Moore not liking this track at the moment. Oh, that was a big moment from Ashton. P9. A little bit too close to the back. Thankfully saved it. Websy. So Websy's come out in P10 on the hard compounded tyres. He's got 4 cars right in front. So, oh, yellow flag. Oh, who's that? No, P's around. He's doing such a good job. I'm assuming that he's just went a little bit too deep and wide off the exit of Degner 2, and that's caused him to spin. Really unfortunate for letter P. He's dropped a decent chunk of time off that as well. So he's back with Big Chris once again after making the overtake about 6 laps ago. As letter P running wide, so obviously having dirt on the tyres, and letter P having to try and navigate this completely. He's half on the grass trying to get his way through. Right on board with the Ferrari driver. Don Moore's come in and he's pit and quit. So he's had enough, Don Moore, as the Ferrari gets past at least one car. You got cars going side by side. The Sauber of Ashton gets out of the way. So Webbsy, this has been a bastard of a lap for him. He should easily get past Rainoon down the inside. Well, Rainoon, he tried hanging around the outside, running way too wide, and that allows the free kick to Ashton up into P6. So Webbsy's got a bit of clear air, about 1.6 behind Junkyard. It's only a single car for him to try and get his way through. On board. So letter P's boxed as well. So those tyres was cooked. So I think Webbsy should still be in the undercut range from the RB. Don't think the RB that he was fighting took advantage of it. Again, it's giving me a headache trying to work out which of these RB cars. That got close. Speaking of the RB cars, he's going to go down the inside of Rainoon on the new tyres, gets the job done. As you can see, Webbsy up ahead, side by side with Junkyard. Junkyard leaves enough space. Be interesting to see if Junkyard tries to defend this. They're going to go side by side. There's contact and Junkyard's around. He's going to say he wasn't given enough room. We had the outboard shot, so he's going to come in so he doesn't lose a lot of time. He won't be too happy about that. It'd been nice if we were on board. Would have actually been able to see sort of how much room was given. But Webbsy, he carries on nonetheless. He's about 18 seconds off the lead of the race at the moment. Ashton in P5, he's holding up the RB. Oh, as you can see, the RB's pushing him along. This is costing him a ton of time. Ollie 1.7. This will help the Alpine get back to a potential podium. You can just see in the background 1.7. You'll see him in the shot there. The RB surely has to send a move down at the hairpin. Ashton takes the normal racing line. He's going to try and do a bit of a switchback. But I just think the tyre age, 10 laps on those medium tyres, he just does not have the grip and the traction, even with the superior exit. So we're right on board, and yeah, Ashton's tyres are gone. He's gone wide, which doesn't help. And this will allow Ollie, should be a fairly easy move. We might actually see the Sauber in this lap. Lap 12 at 27. They should be able to get hards home from here if you took the mediums 12 laps. He hasn't gone for a move here. Maybe just trying to save a bit of battery. Get a good exit out of here. Webbsy's fastest lap on those hards. And should be an easy move. Ashton did get DRS. That's going to be an easy move inside. Ashton won't really fight it. And Ollie Stevens up inside the top 6 now. So top 3 yet to stop. And Shane's actually lost a lot of time. I was going to say he did lose a lot of time. It's 14 seconds. Still 16 seconds to Webbsy. Ghost Rider's 14 seconds behind. Eat the dust with a second and a half back. Webbsy's just about to get onto DRS for the Aston Martin, and should be another couple easy moves. He'd love it if both the cars in front make pit stop and get out of his way. You can see on the track map on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, obviously, bit of field spread. You've got a couple of little battles. Chris and X-Knights. That's just new tyres versus old tyres. 2 laps versus 11, so that was always going to be an easy move for the Ferrari driver up into P11. Letter P is behind his teammate now after that mistake. As you got Junkyard around the outside. There was a little bit of a touch to the rear. And Ghost Rider, he was having such a good race. That's your 10-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane. As you do see the top 3 come in all together, so Websy will retake the race lead. I'll just stick with this battle at the moment between the Haas and the 2 McLarens. So it's going to be, I think that was a little bit of a defensive move from P rather than trying to go for an attack on his teammate. So Broseph is the only one not to stop apart from X-Knights. Broseph obviously on the hard. Oh, that was a late move from Ranoon. And again, he's going to try and squeeze, and P is around again. So Ranoon moved late and then obviously was trying to defend P. I think P probably deserved a little bit more room there. But again, just that sort of late movement before the braking, before sort of heading into turn number 1. And it's another collision, and P, that's his second spin of the afternoon. He will not be happy. And that's further positions lost. So yeah, P's not exactly having a great afternoon. He's got pace just after that sort of first spin. Again, I'm assuming he did it on his own. I don't want to sort of really question it, but really unfortunate. Meanwhile, remember, Hato did box a little bit earlier, same with Dark and Shadow, so they've moved themselves up to P8 and P5 respectively. Dark and Shadow's getting past Broseph, who's yet to stop. So how are his hards? Not great. He's going to have to extend at least another couple of laps before he can try and get a medium tyre. He can try and stretch them to 17, maybe get the mediums 10 laps, lower fuel. I'd love a safety car actually right about now. I'd be curious in terms of who's actually got what tyre balance, in terms of who selected what tyre set. Whether you got an extra set of hards or an extra set of mediums. X-Knight comes into the box, so it will be Broseph will be the only one who is yet to make a pit stop in this race. So, a quick look out front. So, Websy, 4.7 second lead, but he did do a 4-lap undercut. So, we'll see sort of if those hards sort of drop off, and that allows the RB to maybe try and close up. The second of the RB, second of the Shanes, they are second and a half behind their teammate. They've gone medium tyres, same as Ollie on medium tyres. So they've only had the one stop. Everyone's only had one stop, apart from Broseph, who's just been passed by Chris. And yeah, not a surprise that it's the hairpin where that happened. So they've gone medium, so they've got to stop again. They've gone medium. Remember, everybody started this race on the mediums apart from Broseph and AMW. So, the guys that you can see are on the mediums again. They've got to make a second stop. I don't know what they want to sort of get onto, but I don't really feel like softs are going to be able to go a long way. So, it's going to be sort of a decently long middle stint to try and get softs. Otherwise, they will just use hard and just completely try and tear them apart. Websy's managing that gap at the moment. Ollie, again, doing a nice job. One of the SFCR boys. And the top 4 sort of in a league of their own. Ghost Rider, 15 seconds off. Problem is, he's got a 10-second penalty, as you can see. Oh, we got a yellow flag. I think that's one of the Haases. That was a little slow. It might have been someone out the head. But Ghost Rider, as I said, top 4 are sort of in their own pack. Ghost Rider leading. Problem is that 10-second penalty is going to completely throw him down the order. Problem is he's got the fresher tyres of said group. So if we stay group, a few of them will come in and box, and he's going to have nice tyres to the end compared to everybody else. Hato, he's been involved in a couple of little things. He's in P6. think these two were together yesterday in the Lobby 1 race, I believe, around China. I think these two were sort of stuck together for the majority of the race, so they're sort of doing the same today. So similar speed for the pair of them. Eat the Dust in P7, doing a good job. Dark and Shadows, after him spinning about 3 times, is actually just doing a pretty good job being in P8. Problem is, one of the guys that he had contact with, he's only a couple of spots ahead and only a couple of seconds down the road, so might be in for a couple of fireworks at the end before we get to the end of this race. As Eat the Dust, we're getting close to Hato, but hope to sit behind. Broseph still yet to stop. I did tell you you'd have to get to at least 17. He just does not have any grip on those hard compounded tyres, though. Just really struggling to see Junkyard and Rhinoon just trying to get through. We'll sit on board with the Mercedes driver of Rhinoon. Italy Fuller coming into the box for his second stop and final stop. He'll take those hards 12 laps. Meanwhile, we'll quickly switch to Ollie because this is for the podium. Should be an easy move for Brose if Junkyard does get him. Brose lets Rhinoon go as well. At 2 camera angles on user, but this is for the podium. And Ollie holds it. Problem is, Shane will be able to get DRS on board with the RB. Ollie goes to the pit wall, but it's going to be nowhere near enough. And it's it's back to an RB 2 and 3. Ollie in P4 goes for Ryder in P5. He's broken clear of Hato. He's got a little bit of trouble from Eat the Dust and Dark and Shadows behind. Eat the Dust. Easy move. And gets up into the top 6. Now, get the boxing gloves out because we've got Hato and Dark and Shadows for another round. At the moment, Hato's got DRS for protection, but Dark and Shadow's been quick. He's just, unfortunately, lost time with a couple of those incidents. On board. So, got a bit of clear air behind. X-Knights gets past AMW. He comes into the pit lane for another stop onto a set of mediums. They'll go 10 laps to the end. Ashton gets the job done on Broseph before the hairpin. So Broseph will be screaming to try and get off those hard compounded tyres. House is aware. It's not bad for Broseph. He's not any sort of puncher territory, but when you're getting close to puncher territory for the hards, you know they're going to be feeling fairly ordinary. Ollie thought about the move, just sticks in behind. It would have been a crazy lunge. Which is sort of the issue here at turn 1 at Japan, because it's not really sort of a hard braking zone into a corner. It's sort of a flowing one. You can carry a lot of speed. Right on board with Hato as an example. Gee, they're sort of through the apex before they even start lifting off. So it's just a tricky corner. You sort of have to be right alongside on the inside to sort of be able to get that corner. As Rhinoon, speaking of contact, and both of them in the wall. Junkyard probably lucky that he didn't lose one of his front wheels. But we just caught it on board. Rhinoon, Junkyard. That's not one place you should go side by side through the S's. And again, not only have the Haas been in the wars, McLaren's not been too far behind him. So Junkyard back down to P14. He's up at a P10. So we'll try and chase that down. We'll let people try and chase down Rhinoon. Dark and Shadow. I was going to say Dark and Shadows. Oh, Shane's making a second pit stop. Surely I think the softs are going to be too long. Yeah, it is. It's a hard compounded tyre. So realistically, he's going to go longer on the second set of mediums than he does on the hard at the end of the stint. Let it be in Rhinoon. Rhinoon's still going to stick the nose up there still. We're still going to go side by side. I think it's going to be Let It P who has DRS. And it is going to be Let It P. Oh, that could have very easily had the McLaren spun over the nose of the Mercedes. Thankfully not. So Let It P finally gets past. So the second of the RBs has some clear air now. If we can clear the couple of cars ahead. But it's going to be a big challenge to try and close down the pit stop that he needs. I think Ollie might actually have this if the tyres aren't sort of... No, Ollie has to stop. Here's me thinking getting a little bit too far ahead. Junkyard's retired in pit lane. That's our third retirement. Yeah, I'm not too surprised with that sort of collision that happened there. Dark and Shadows has boxed, so before he got to Hato, he's boxed onto a set of soft compounded tyres. That's going to be a long way for them too. Seeing how the mediums are sort of struggling. Websy is going to make a second pit stop. So 4 laps. Older. So does Shade just try and carefully get them home from here? That's not the first, it's the second RB as side-by-side contact with Hato. Gets the job done. Hato comes into the pit lane. So got to try and beat Dark and Shadows out, but I think the one lap undercut, Dark and Shadows should have that position sorted. Websy has got 10 seconds to close down on Ollie and a further 9 seconds. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to do it, actually. How's Hato doing? Rhinoon's in the wall. Down the start, finish straight as well. So was that contact between him and Ashton? No safety car's been called. As he gets out of the way, the Battle Cat. Dark and Shadows did make the one lap undercut work, but he's on sauce. Hato's on mediums. As Dark and Shadows gets his way around Rhinoon, P11. I'm curious to see what actually happened because it was contact down the straight. And he's got Hato. He's just left enough room on the inside for Hato to get through. You can see the wing damage on the Merc. We'll have to come in to get that fixed. So multiple strategies, and this is what this game is sort of bringing with us, which is good for sort of comms and strategy, that we haven't had a safety car at all, not even a VSC. And it is the option of whether or not you use the two, you do a 2-stop, or you try and stretch the 1-stop. If you are good with tyres, Ollie's got to come in to use a second compound. So we'll go on to hards, but we'll have lost a lot of time to the RB, who's just coming up to eat the dust and should be an easy move, and does set the fastest lap of the race. That's an easy position back. Eat the dust there, and you see Ollie. He's gone the sauce, so he wanted to extend that a little bit longer and going to go ultra aggressive. Now he only has to be within 3 seconds of the RB to claim that podium. Ghost Rider, remember, has the 10-second penalty, so he is unfortunately out of a podium position. Maybe unless there's a safety car, we'll follow everybody in, get a new set of probably softs on. He'll get rid of that 10-second penalty. There is enough spread as the RB. Big moment off the outside curb. Running wide. Thankfully doesn't put it in a spin. So able to keep going. Should be net third on the road at the moment. You can see penalties there. So Ghost Rider dropping 10 seconds. Looking like probably P6 for Ghost Rider, which is still a great effort. He's raced well. And apart from that, the 10-second penalty for speeding, he's done really well. So just really unfortunate that he hasn't been able to sort of potentially fight for a podium. I think Shane will probably have a little bit too much speed anyway. Websy sets the fastest lap on the new set of medium tyres. 15.9 seconds to try and close down. 6 laps left. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. What was the last lap? So Websy was a 29.847. Shane was a 131.482. So it was about a second and a half. So it's going to have to be a hell of a lot more time than that to try and close down. So Ashton's gone into the pit lane early on. Oh, Ashton's retired. Why's he retired? Potentially dinner as a guest maybe for Ashton. Because he was running in a really good spot. So that's obvious that wasn't a sort of angry pit and quit, unfortunately. So shame for Ashton. He was driving well. So it would have been a top 10. But obviously a lot of guys had made pit stops, their second pit stops. So whether he would have been able to keep it inside the 10 is another question. But we'll see Ashton later on in the future races. So obviously we got a lot of the TPs. We'll be watching these pre-season races to pick their teams. Always Ghost Rider gets squeezed out. And Shane hits back and gets P3. Eat the Dust and Ollie, they're very close together. Ryan Noon picks up a 3-second penalty down in 15th. So field's really spread out now. So going to be a little bit of a quieter end to this race, unfortunately. But it's been intriguing battles. A couple of little moments there. I'm expecting it will blow up a little bit in the chat afterwards. But overall, it's been a good race. Good to have a full lobby. As you'll see Ollie get past Eat the Dust on the freshest soft compounder tyres. Easily done. So that's the one intrigue that we've got. Ollie 2-lap-old softs. The second of the RBs, 4-lap-old hards. And Shane has a 3-second penalty. So the question, do those softs hold on long enough to at least stay within the 3-second window? That's all Ollie has to hope for. All yellow flag. Randoon's around. And he's retired. So has he done that? He was away from the wall. Is that car going? Yes, it is. That's a retirement on track. That's a big no-no, unfortunately. So he's not had the best second stint of his race, and unfortunately, that's a retirement on track. Websy thankfully gets past the AI car. But obviously, that's a big rule here in Inters. You pit and quit on track. That is an automatic disqualification and a couple of license points heading your way. So obviously, I know it's pre-season, but the Inters rulebook's still sort of in effect. So definitely looked down upon as Deli Fuller lets one of the RBs go. So 4 laps left. So getting to the bottom end here. So yeah, thank you very much for your company in this race as we wind down. Ranoon's left the session. So it's not the race he would have wanted as Ollie gets past Ghost Rider. All important for potential podium. He's got 2.4 seconds. Gap is 3 seconds. He's got to be under that. But are those softs already starting to struggle for him? It's a podium. If he can. Yeah, I was curious about that, Ranoon. Obviously, we saw your accident on the front straight. Do you know which car it was? I was curious. I probably unfairly pointed at Ashton because he was nearby. We'll go to Battle Cat. Battle Cat and Broseph having a nice fight down the back. AMW. Oh, that is on track. Hopefully that's not another pit and quit. That car unfortunately looks going again, so another pit and quit on the circuit. I think. Ollie sets the fastest lap of the race. I'm just going to quickly see what happened with Battle Cat and Broseph. So, fastest lap of the race, so would have been the extra point. So, looking at the tyre where he's not going too bad. Just can't afford a mistake and drop outside 3 seconds. So 3 racing laps left. Websy, he hasn't closed up enough. He's tried to make the second pit stop work. I think he just needed to stay out on those hards. You saw Broseph go a long way and he wasn't near punch territory. I think Websy's best bet would have been to try and hang it out and go long. Problem is, that's not the case, and even with medium tyres, he was only a second quicker that last lap to the RB, so good knowledge at least for all these guys. I know I personally haven't done a lot of 50%ers, so all these races I come over and all the races other guys watch, just gets just that little bit of knowledge in terms of how sort of these tyres work. Only 2 seconds. He's holding that nicely. Ghost Rider in a good spot. He's still looking like he'll only drop the 1 spot with the 10-second penalty. X-Knights coming in for a set of sauce. So we've had 6 retirements. So with the Inters points system in effect during the season, every one of the finishers will be scoring points. So the guys have done well. Obviously, you got sort of all 3 tiers sort of racing tonight, but they've sort of worked it well around themselves relatively decently. Hado 1.8 behind Dark and Shadows. Just wondering if Dark and Shadows softs and maybe just starting to drop off a little bit. See if Hado can sort of catch in the final couple of laps. Websy, yeah, I don't think he gained. He only gained 7/10 on that last lap, so never going to close 10 seconds in a lap unless Shane made a mistake. But the one stopper clearly worked. We'll have a look. So the one stoppers was Shane with Ghost Rider and Eat the Dust as Darkins had a moment. He's had a moment up the hill. So he gets out of the way as he nearly spins onto the oncoming path of the letter P. That would have really ticked off P, I reckon. Thankfully, Dark and Shadows keeps it out of the wall and of another vehicle. As Ollie and Shane. So, not sure if Shane's had a moment. But Ollie is in P4. In P3, I should say. And without a 3-second penalty to his name, it will be an Alpine jumping on the podium. So we come and are on our final lap now. The other RB, we haven't seen much of them. They've been fantastic with the one stop. As you got Battlecat and Broseph, round 13, 14, Broseph back up into P11. As you got Ollie, I don't think Ollie will do anything too stupid. He's well within range penalties, as you can see. So Ollie will jump up to 3rd. Ghost Rider while he dropped down a spot. Oh no, Ollie picks up a 3-second penalty. I said he just needed to keep it clean. He does it at the wrong moment. So it's going to be a double RB on the podium unless he's potentially can get that position back. We'll keeping that in mind. However, the other RB with the one stop, Shane Van Gisbergen, will come across the line, will win the pre-season race here in Japan at Suzuka. Websy in P2. Fortunately, the 2 stop. He couldn't quite get the pace on those mediums. Meanwhile, is it going to be an RB 1 and 3? I think it will. Ollie nowhere near close enough. And Ollie will be kicking themselves. That one mistake, he gets some decent traction out of the final corner. However, it's going to be Shane Van Gisbergen part 2 on the 3rd step of the podium. Ollie does finish in P4. Really unfortunate for them. Eat the Dust in P5. Great effort from them. Ghost Rider as well. Great race. 10-second penalty hurts them, but Ollie drops them 1 position in the end. Hado was in the wars a little bit, but great effort, great recovery drive. Finish in P7. Big Chris lost a few spots early on, managed to keep it out of the walls. He's in P8, let a P wide out of the final corner. He finishes in P9 after being sideways a couple of times. Battlecat, after a moment early on, dropping him to the back. He's having a nice battle between him and Broseph, but Battlecat's got a win out here, finishing just inside the top 10. Going to slow down, going to be sort of a single fold, nearly thing. Battlecat beats Broseph. Dark and Shadows boxed for a 3rd time, I believe. He hits P12. Delhi Fuller and X-Knights were a lap down, but were classified. So in in the season proper would have picked up a couple of points for the pair of them. But Shane Van Gisbergen, the RB pairing 1 and 3, Websy in P2. So these three class of the field alongside Ollie Stevens, who I thought might have pinched the podium, but unfortunately that penalty on the last lap. Unfortunately, they ended any chances. They only need to get another half lap later on. But unfortunately, couldn't do that. So yeah, really unfortunate. But shout out to our top three as well. Very, very quick, very, very dominant. So as we have a look, driver of the day was the Battle Cat. Probably a couple other people I probably would have given it to, but shout out to him. Ollie Stevens did pick up the fastest lap. Shane Van Gisbergen is your race winner. Most overtakes was X-Knight, and cleanest driver was Rosef. As we quickly scroll, so it was Shane, it was Websy, and it was the second Shane Van Gisbergen. So I'm going to find out who was the two RB drivers, because I'd like to actually know who the hell they were. Ollie Stevens, Eat the Dust, Ghost Rider, Paydo, Chris, Letter P, and Battle Cat were your 10. But definitely some good racing. Couple of Ghost Rider not happy with his pen, but really unfortunate for that. This can be a tricky pit lane as it is, but just trying to slow these cars down and trying to get into pit lane. It's definitely caused a couple of issues for myself. I know I've picked up a couple of speeding pens already in this game, so great racing. We will end it there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stay around for interviews, but shout out to both RB drivers. Fantastic effort. Same as Websy. He's near the top as always, so yeah, shout out to them. But you can see on your screen, the Sunday race is our first taste of the reverse tracks here in Inters. And it was Austria reverse, so looking forward to that one. Thanks, Josh. I figured you were one of them. I didn't know who the other one was, but Finn's, he was mighty, so glad you two are up there. So yeah, you two were very competitive as always, and yeah, that's good to know. At least I got one of the names right. Had no clue who the other one was, but yeah, shout out to you two. Fantastic effort, and whichever one of you guys were the first RB made the one stop work perfectly and managed to have a 10-second lead and 10-second victory. But as I was saying, yeah, Austria reverse tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. I might actually try and get a drive. Been in the comms box the last 2 nights, so I might actually try and get a seat tomorrow afternoon, but we'll try and get a stream up for you guys at home anyway. So thank you very much for your company this evening, and yeah, looking forward to Austria reverse. I like driving it. I've driven it a few times, and definitely a fun track in terms of a 50% up. Will be very interesting. So looking forward to it. And then Zandvoort in Singapore next week. The tighter tracks for week 2 of the pre-season should be a bit of fun as well. So I've been Scotty. Thank you very much for your company, and we'll catch you tomorrow afternoon for Austria reverse here at Inters pre-season.